Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. We're going to continue our NBA team previews before the season starts. For this episode, I'm going to do a very interesting one. I'm going to do the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm happy I ended up waiting till this late to do them because it gives something to talk about. The recent trade they were involved in with the New York Knicks that sent Karl Anthony Towns away from Minnesota and to the Knicks, and they received Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. I'll get into that soon. Let's start with the depth chart here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We have Michael Conley at the 1, Anthony Edwards at the 2, Jalen McDaniels at the 3. We have Julius Randle at the 4, Rudy Gobert at the 5. Key bench players would be former Sixth Man of the Year Naz Reid, Joe Ingles, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, Nickeil Walker-Alexander. Very good bench. I like that Minnesota can really open the bench and go deep in the roster. I'd say for sure go 8 guys, maybe 9 if you throw in Dillingham, how far he comes along, and possibly even 10 if Nickeil Walker-Alexander continues to improve his shot and gets more time for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was one of the big parts of their defense last year, so he's a big piece to build on for that aspect. Let's talk about the starting lineup. I like Michael Conley at the 1. I like Anthony Edwards at the 2. The Dante DiVincenzo pickup gives you the ability to start Edwards at the 1 and put Dante in at the 2, give you a catch-and-shoot guy off of Edwards, or even late-game lineups, which is nice. Having Naz Reid gives you the ability to play him at the 4 to back up Randle, to play him at the 5 to back up Rudy Gobert. It gives you a mix of being allowed to have 2 bigs with Naz and Rudy in at the same time, or gives you a little bit more shooting if you would take Rudy out and you would keep Julius Randle in with Naz Reid. So I love that aspect of this Wolves team. I'll be interested to see how they gel. It's well known that Julius Randle is an ISO player. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits, that style fits with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, as we've seen last season, was to the point where you could just give him the ball and he would make something happen. He could make a shot, or he could make a shot for a teammate, a shot for himself. He could make anything happen. So it's nice that Edwards is there. I believe, it's pretty much believed he is the best 2 guard in the league at this point. And he has the ability to make for teammates too. We've seen so far in preseason that his 3-pointers gotten better, but he had like 8 threes against the New York Knicks. Sure, it's just preseason, but that does mean his shots getting better, so that's dangerous if he continues to improve on that. But one thing I want to see from Anthony Edwards, like I said, it's widely believed he has the best 2 guard in the league. I mean, it's debatable. Most people would say he is. I just want to see more consistency. I still seen last season where some games this guy's putting up 20, 30, 40, and then the next game he's at 12. If you're going to be a big-time superstar in the NBA, future face of the league, like they say, I need more than 12 points on a game, on just a random night. Just a random game with 12. I don't need that. Even on your bad games, I still need 20 from you. At least 20 from you. So I just want to see more of that. Or if you're going to have a bad game, at least have like 8 or 9 assists. At least be playmaking, creating for teammates. I want to see better. I see a lot of immaturity, and that may be what holds him back from being a superstar sooner in this league. But all in all, I mean, the talent's there. I want to see more of a consistency, and I want to see more play creating for teammates, because when it gets down to big moments in the game, defense is going to be pressed on you more. The eyes are going to focus on you. At that point, that's your job to, if there's a better shot available for someone else, passing you and finding that. So I want to see more maturity, I want to see more consistency, and the league just may be Anthony Edwards. If he can put both of those together, he may be able to take the league in his hands at that point, because I don't know who's going to stop him at that point. if he gets all of that together. And every player has flaws. He's a really good defender. He worked on his three-point shot, so we're seeing that improve. Another thing I want to talk about for starting lineup of Minnesota, let's not forget Jalen McDaniels. That guy is a defender. He is really, really good defender, but not only that, he was hitting some big shots in the playoffs, some big three-pointers. He was for 3-and-D guy, 3-and-D wing, and he was locking guys down. I love that from him, and I think that's a huge piece to have on your playoff team. I love the Joe Ingles signing, because that's another veteran big piece that you want to have on your playoff team. He has team chemistry with Rudy Gobert, that pick and roll they did in Utah. I like how this Minnesota roster is shaped at. They have Minnesota at 52.5. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say 49 or 50. I see them being a top 4 seed in the West, but maybe losing a few games here and there just because guys haven't gelled yet together. And I also, one last thing I want to touch on, I heard Danny Green on Inside the Green Room talking about the Karl Anthony Towns trade, Minnesota, and saying he thought New York won the deal. New York got a pretty good piece in Karl Anthony Towns, don't get me wrong, but Karl Anthony Towns is not a New York Knicks type of player. He's not that physical, tough, defensive, strong guy. He's a catch and shoot more guy on the perimeter. He's not that physical player inside. He's more of a three-point shooter as a big. He's not a big defense. He's not a defensive big. He's not that. He's not physical. He's not that tough. That New York tough. He's not that type of player. I'm not even sure how well he's going to do in Tom Thibodeau's offense. I mean, he made you great in the offense, but defensively, I just don't know how he's going to do in that. If you want him to be your big, and you want him to be your 5, and you're playing small besides him, where does the defense come in at? That's all I'm wondering. And it goes out of that New York toughness style and that physicality style. But on the other hand, of Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns did show up a lot in the playoffs for you. So if Julius Randle, which this is a big if, is healthy around playoff time, and you find that groove with him and Anthony Edwards, maybe that turns out to be a huge pickup. And then on the flip side of that, you got Dante DiVincenzo. This man's a flat-out shooter. We saw what he did with New York, helping them reach the second round on a depleted, because of injuries, New York Knicks team. We know what type of player Dante DiVincenzo is. He is that shooter. He's just that good at hitting those shots, those big clutch shots, going off for 20-some on a given night, hitting so many threes. He's just in that zone. I love that pickup for Minnesota. I love that coming off of a bench behind Anthony Edwards. You have that ability to shoot coming in off a bench for Anthony Edwards. I love that. So it'll be interesting to see Minnesota. I do think they'll lose a couple here and there. They'll be under 52.5. I think 49 or 50. I'll see you on Friday.